gaffle for P1. Crash Fran's out. It's lap 1.
It's wheel to wheel. They make contact.
Spins over the wall.
Has driven fantastically. He's defended brilliantly.
Welcome along to the URC. It's a quick look at the standings. We've got the sprint race here in Belgium for today. Pole position is going to go to Rando from its Bluefoot 05. Top 10 in the driver's standings are on your screen right now. Hyper leads by a massive margin from Ree and C11 after a poor performance last time out. Quiet Boy and HB Cook 3rd and 4th in the Drivers' Championship, 43 and 30 points respectively. Good points last time out for them. Keeping them up there in the Constructors' fight, but right now it's Racing Bulls versus McLaren for the Constructors. Yari up to P5 in the Drivers after all you can say was an incredible racing coat, but he is back on wheel at this point. Fran Bernoulli there in 6th. It's been a poor start to the season for the reigning champion, so he is going to have work to do today. F1 Chicane up in 7th. Consistency has been king for him at ST, down in 8th. Not a great start to the season for him, but not many points on offer in those higher positions for anyone. Richie W18 is in 9th from Joker, last of the top 10 drivers. Phase Monkeys 11th, Jordan Lancer, who was dropped out of the league full-time, is 12th. Max in 13th from Billy Wiz, Johnsy Boy, Vinny, Bluefoot, Lucas Spurs, Rando, and Shamrock is 20th in the standings, on the only reserve on the standings table at the moment after the United States Grand Prix. But we are here in Kota, where the grid is set as so. Joker up to P8, we've got 2 drivers in that top 10. 2 drivers in the bottom 10 not racing, and reserves at the back. Shamrock, who will be full-time after today. You've got MH, Jake Donaldinho, and Mr. Orabeng all running together here in this race. Alt HB Cook in 13th, one of the faster guys. Further forward, he's going to be looking for a great start to this race. And can Bluefoot, after what we can only call a terrible start to his season, find a way forward in this race? Keep an eye on Owl's Joker as well there in P8 on my screen as Quiet Boy 0209's biggest fan. He could pose a threat in this sprint race. It's expected mediums for everyone on the grid. Orabeng right now looking at hards. There will be no pit stop for the sprint, and the sprint order will decide the starting grid for the main race. Who in this sprint is going to get knocked down? We will find out very shortly as we get 5 red lights here in Belgium. It's round 6 and it's lights out, and away we go. It's a good start for Rando. Off pole position, Bluefoot's going to challenge him around the outside. Vinny on the inside going to challenge him. Rando very deep into turn 1. Bluefoot has been shafted into the gravel. There's a Mercedes and a Ferrari off. It's going to be Vinny who takes the lead. Johnsy Boy is close behind him. Quiet Boy's biggest fan in Joker is right on the back of Richie W18 as we head on to the Camel Straight. There is wheel-to-wheel action up and down the field right now. Hyper not making up positions off the start. Has that been a poor decision from the McLaren driver, Vinny, and Johnsy Boy making contact? Vinny takes a 3-second penalty. Johnsy Boy down to 3rd with Joker, who's going to want to close in. Right behind them, Hyper has found his way up to 9th. As further back, we've got Fran Bernoulli wheel-to-wheel with the Ferrari of ST. The German fighting the Malteser. And is he going to find a way through? Possible race strategies, 0 stops is the way we're going to see things pan out today. As far as we can tell, everyone on the medium, apart from Orabeng, he's going different. He's feeling spicy. Hyper, though, is looking at Quiet Boy. Quiet Boy holding him off for the time being, but Hyper trying to be aggressive here early in the race. He is looking left, right and centre for a move against the Williams driver, trying to get himself deep in that top 10 early on here. Good positions made up from Shamrock, Yari and Rian as well further down the grid, but here comes Hyper on Quiet Boy. It might not be the lead that we want to focus on here with everything going on, but it's a big battle into the bus stop for the leaders. Joker's up to P3. We've got yellow flags out on track as Phase Monkey has been shafted off the track. Johnsy Boy, fastest lap of the race, taken for the time being, but Joker up to 3rd. I said he could be a threat, and he is. Fran Bernoulli still battling him out. with ST. Hyper doing the same with Quiet Boy, who's going to back out before the Camel Straight here. Massive bumping around for the McLaren car as we go up the hill. The two Kick Saubers with a wheel-to-wheel in Eau Rouge. It's now 3 wide behind. Max is trying to get in there, but he can't. Not quite yet, but he's going to have another go here on the Kick Sauber into the hairpin. Is he going to make a move? He has. Quite nice and easy for him as Richie losing places, and he might lose another one here to ST. A little bit wide and Hyper, ever the opportunistic driver, trying to fight his way into P6. Can he do it? He'll have to hang it around the outside of No Name or Fangio, whatever this corner is now called, because that corner's name has never been named in my heart. But Hyper up to P6 immediately, and that is going to put the worry on a few of these drivers who really want to stick with him. Billy Wiz is driving like he's got damage, and he has. That front left end plate is off the car, and that's going to be costing him massive performance on a track as low downforce as this. We've got a yellow flag further back. Jake Donaldinho must have had a spin, and he's gotten a lot of wheel spin there. Rando, who started on pole, by the way, is down in P20, but it might not be for long because MH has had a problem on the exit of Stabilo. Has he just spun and hit the wall there? Down to P17 for the Kick Sauber, and it's not been a great start for the reserve, as Rian is going to find his way through on Richie, who pulls into the pits. That's his stint over Yari in P9, with a great opportunity for points today as Hyper continuing his push forward. Richie out and retired here in Belgium. It's only lap 3 of the sprint, but he can't do anything about that. Owl's HB Cook has also found his way around Yari, but no DRS now for HB Cook. Could come a factor towards the end of the straight, might not even be a factor on this straight as we head on to the Camel Straight. How's HB Cook? Wrong position, wrong time for him, as Yari's going to make the position back up on the Williams driver. Back on wheel this week is Quiet Boy. Yari has his issues fixed at this stage, as Jake Donaldinho and Rando, they may only be in P18 and P19, but it's bragging rights for the two of them. Here, neither of them... Actually, Rando is 19th in the driver's standings, just ahead of Shamrock. But if Shamrock's move through the grid is as monumental as it has been so far, we're going to have a good one here. Richie has said someone has spammed Phase Monkey, caused him to get damage. Andrew is convinced someone is a femboy, and it's probably ST. I wouldn't be surprised if that German was in fact a femboy with how he speaks, but femboy or not femboy is not the topic for the stream today. Arbang's still in P15, by the way. Those hard ties are not working for him so far, but he's found a run here on its Bluefoot. Can he do anything? Sham's video editor makes contact with the side of the Red Bull, and that is not what you want to be seeing at such a high speed position on track, as what has happened here with Joker getting into the lead. There goes Vinny trying to go up the inside. He is massively deep on the brakes, hits the back of the Haas car, and that is causing issues. Yari might have disconnected there. That is not what he wants to do. Richie saying driving standards worse than BMW drivers. Joker now is going to fall here. 5 cars within a second of each other on the Camel Straight. Who's going to come out on top? Johnsy Boy for the time being, but Vinny, he's going to try and hang it around the outside. Can he do anything? No, he can't. Johnsy Boy in the Mercedes takes the lead after what was a controversial race the other day in Velocity Racing Series. Thank you, our partner league, ran by Ferran Bernoulli, who is racing today. But on lap 4, the Mercedes leads the race. The man in 15th in the driver's standings, looking to take home some good points from this sprint race. But everyone behind still with opportunities, as Hyper's looking opportunistic on the inside of Pouon. Thinks a little better of it. He's low on battery, but he goes by Fran Bernoulli. Was that a let-through from the Red Bull driver? The McLaren looking much faster at this stage in the proceedings. Hyper up to 4th. And now with opportunities to take home a sprint win here inside of URC on this wonderful evening. But still 4 laps to go. Not many overtakes are going to be able to happen for the time being. Arbang's finally going to make up a position, by the way, because of Yari's disconnected car. I don't think Yari's going to make those positions back, and we'll just have to see what he can do in the feature race. I'll actually see if I can quickly invite him now, if he is still online, because it's a shame that he's gone, but he's not even online on F1 at the moment. Yari's going to lose positions as FaZe Monkey's backwards at the hairpin. The bus stop chicane treating him horribly as Rian overtaken by ST. Maybe a bit of a scrap into turn 1, but now Vinny's 3-second penalty will be lingering on his mind. In this race, and it starts with an overtake on Johnsy Boy. A little bit of front left, right front contact. Vinny can't make the position, and it was slow in front of Joker. There's no damage to that Haas car for the time being, but through the hairpin we go. Hyper is looking ravenous right now. He is TV pod offset sweat as Johnsy Boy. I think that'll be removed afterwards. We'll have to wait and see, but a 10-second time penalty on the board for the Mercedes driver right now. That's not what he needs to build his confidence up here in Belgium right before the feature race, but pushing hard, and that is what you might have happen. But did that contact cause him to go off, and will that be revoked? Steve Faulkner, maybe we'll have a good look at that after the race if Johnsy Boy can provide a clip, which we know he might not be able to. It's not the most reliable clip man in the world, but Vinny now, P2, he's got to do something now. He has an advantage like no other. DRS train, though, down to P10 as it stands. By the way, Shamrock in the top 10 and well engaged in that DRS train. Might be the tail end of it if Billy Wiz can't get a wiggle on here. But Rian is going to get ST already. Start-finish straight for Rian as Billy Wiz picks up a time penalty. Exit of the final corner. It's not a place you expect to have it happen, as Max and Orabeng now fighting it out for bragging rights in a position at the start of the race, unable to do anything. Joker and Hyper, though, are they going to have anything to do with each other? Joker has a little bit more battery, and with that toe still in effect, he's not going to be able to do anything. Vinny is going to, for the second lap in a row, outside on Johnsy Boy. Little bit of contact, it's dragged them off. And there's more contact. Joker leads, and that is a gap for Joker, with Vinny making a huge mistake there. Hyper finds his way up to third, and now can Joker find a way to pull away? He needs to try whatever he can. The Belgian Waffle, I think, is looking to try and rejoin the session at the moment. I'm going to try and get him back in. I hope I can get him back in, because he will be starting last otherwise. Through the chicane he goes, though. Bluefoot picks up another 3-second time penalty. One more to add to the woes for this race, as Quiet Boy has had an issue, and is that with Ray and JFT, because Quiet Boy is massively down to P10. Rian, does he have more problems in that V-carb car? His wing is alright. How's Quiet Boy's a little bit of damage, so something going on between Quiet Boy and Rian. Both of them involved on Tuesday night with a little controversy with LOI Not Jack in Velocity Racing Series, and tonight it's each other that they seem to have collected. Rian coming off a lot worse, and he's going to have work to do in that feature race, especially given the gap in the driver's standings. Hyper leading him by 34 points right now, and that gap is only going to extend with a good exit from Hyper, but he can't find that traction towards Eau Rouge. 2 laps left here in this feature race. Closest fights on track, Fran Bernoulli and Johnsy Boy, ST and Owls HB Cook. Fran Bernoulli, Shamrock, by the way, in the points here on his debut as a full-time driver in the sprint race. Here goes HB Cook. He's going to make the move on his counterpart in the Ferrari, and nothing coming of it. Johnsy Boy had a go at Fran Bernoulli, couldn't do anything about him. Hyper similarly unable to challenge WTEC7 Vinny, who just, I think, had enough of a DRS advantage from Joker giving it to him to keep him ahead. But Joker now has a 1-second gap over anyone else, as Vinny seems to be burning a little bit more and a little bit more just to find his way forward. Yari disconnects again, and that is not what the Belgian Waffle needs going into the feature race after a result last time that shocked everyone in the paddock. Joker full battery, Vinny doesn't have half a bad battery either. Who's going to be faster though on this straight? That is the question that everyone has to ask at this point. Vinny looks like he's going to lose out to Joker unless he can burn more of that battery, which he's going to try and do. He's still on the overtake button, but nothing comes of it. No DRS going on to the final lap for Vinny, and is that going to cost Hyper any sort of opportunity of having a go at Joker if Hyper even has the battery or the tyres left? It's a massive slide out of the final corner for Hyper. He just about kept it in a straight line, but that McLaren set up aggressively. He is going for gold today, and he won't accept anything else, but Vinny is the first obstacle for him. Joker seems to be on to win this race no matter what, barring a monumental mistake from the guy who's P10 in the championship. This will jump him up a few places. I think even with Fran's result, it'll put him close to, if just behind Fran. Here goes Hyper on Vinny. Was that a little warning for him? Vinny is going to try and fight it back. Can he switch back? The Irishman in the McLaren. No, he can't. Down the hill. Hyper into P2. Johnsy Boy has fallen back. ST has fallen back. Everyone falling into the clutches of their rivals right now. Bluefoot has been overtaken finally by Orabeng, but that might be it. Rando retires from the race. Can we see what happened maybe from on board with FaZe Monkey? He is in that gravel, and that is disappointment for Rando. P19 only for him. That at least promotes Yari up another place, and Yari will actually probably gain the place back from FaZe Monkey too. It's a clear lead though. 4 hours Joker coming into the final sector, and this has been well driven from the Haas driver. It may only be a sprint win, but it is a win nonetheless, at least as it stands, for the guy deemed as Quiet Boy's biggest fan on the grid. He may have not put up the results recently in URC that are expected of him, but this sprint race shows he still has it in him. He'll do anything it takes to get the result he wants. He rounds the final corner. Joker wins the sprint race. Hyper will come home P2. It'll be Fran Bernoulli to take a podium position. HB Cook, without a penalty, takes home P4. From ST, Vinny, Shamrock gets P7. Billy is 8th. Quiet Boy 9th. It's 10th for Sham's video editor. 11th for John's Boy. Max is barely behind him at the line. 13th for MH. It'll be 14th for RNC 11. 15th for Bluefoot, 16th for Jake Donaldinho, as FaZe Monkey has had a bottle at the end of that race. It's going to be P17 for Yari Spamzel 2, and FaZe Monkey, I think, showing us some donuts right at the end of this event. P18, it has not been the Aston Martin driver's race today, but there's still opportunities. 22 laps will be coming up at the end after a small break here, where Joker, taking the bragging rights for the first time, will start pole. Hyper and Fran Bernoulli close to each other on track once again, just like they were the entirety of last season. But we will be back after a short break for what promises to be an incredible race.
Bluefoot battling. Gaffo for a P1. Crash Franz out. It's lap 1.
It's wheel to wheel. They make contact.
Spins over the wall.
Has driven fantastically. He's defended brilliantly and he's kept it.
Actually just died. Good job, microphone. Okay, you're back. Beautiful. So welcome back to URC. We're going to be getting ready for the race to begin very shortly. A reminder of your standings prior to this race. McLaren were leading the constructors. Hyper was leading the drivers. The two counterparts in the top two of the driver standings of Yari and Max not doing enough really to help their teammates. Can that change today? It was a poor sprint race for Yari. But Joker, in what will be intermediate conditions, I can confirm for the whole race, starts on pole, Hyper in second from Fran, HB Cook, and Johnsy Boy. Hyper out there extending his lead at the front of the driver's standings. Fran Manuli can jump up a couple places, I believe, just over actually Yari, who had a terrible sprint race. As HB Cook found some points. Shamrock picks up a point as well in the sprint race. Good effort from him. Quiet Boy managed to keep himself P10, Re in C11 in P14 at the start of this race. What can he do? Remember, in the intermediate conditions in Australia, he did very well indeed. Yari spams L2. Our driver 5th in the driver standings right now, dropped probably to 6th after that sprint race, maybe even 7th. Yari in 17th from FaZe Monkey. Rando and Richie retired from the sprint race. We go back to the live view. You can see the bottom half of the grid there. Richie, Rando, FaZe Monkey, Yari, Jake, Bluefoot, Rian, MH, Max, and Orabang. The bottom half of the grid, the top half of the grid, looking to go well here at the start in Belgium. It's lights out and away we go. Very quick response from the lights. It looked like a great start from Quiet Boy. Into turn 1 we go. Can Hyper be held off for at least one lap? It looks like he will be. There's a lot of ghosting in the mid-pack. But on the outside, Hyper is going to continue to try and hang it. Here against Joker, can he do absolutely anything? Shamrock has dropped a lot of places off to start. Hyper takes the lead in Belgium. And Joker with a very poor run off of Orouge and Radion. It looked like someone was very wide there. But can Fran do anything? No, he's under pressure from HB Cook in the Williams. It is a clusterfuck back there. 5 wide at times it looked like. As one of the Hasses taking the cut. That might be Billy Wiz there. Yes, it is. Dropping a few places there as Shamrock is down to 16th. Gary's found some places. ST up to P7 off the start. Rian finding a place right now. Trying to fight it out still with Billy Wiz. And Sham's video editor in Orabang. But everything going pretty nice. Orabang is trying to have a go on Max. Down the hill into Puon. Nothing going right for him there as Rian loses places. Bluefoot and Jake Donaldinho fighting it out through Puon now. Can they do anything? Yari, Shamrock, FaZe Monkey. There's 2 cars off the track. That looked like Yari and one of the Mercedes, maybe Shamrock. Someone getting pushed a little bit onto the grass there. It's FaZe Monkey after a terrible sprint race off in the gravel. Early stages here in Belgium. It's going to be a full wet race. It's wet the entire distance here in Belgium, and lap 1 not going well for anyone really. Hyper though in the best spot right now out in front. He's got a little advantage over Joker for the time being. Can Joker maintain anything to Hyper as Rando is looking at Yari? He is sliding around. Yari deep, Rando, both of them taking an off track there as Rando using the grass a little bit under braking. Yari gets the car rotated in nicely and he is into the pits at the end of lap 1. New front wing required for the V-Carb driver, and it has not been what he wants today, and it's a 10-second speed penalty to boot. Is that the end of Yari's race? It is. Lap 1 already the end of Yari, and that is not what he needed to maintain any sort of position in this Drivers' Championship, especially with Fran Manuli in hot pursuit of a podium position early on in the race. But HB Cook not going to be able to find a way through right now. I think the person who might find a way through is Max. He's looking all over MH. He's going to dive up the inside of MH. A little bit of front wing to rear wheel contact, but Max makes up the position up into the points for the first time this race. And he wants to keep climbing here. His teammate in the best spot as Rian has dropped a couple places. He's fighting it out with Richie down in P15. The driver currently occupying P2 in the Drivers' Championship is fighting to try and make his way up into the points right now. Can he do anything against Richie? He's to the inside of the Alpine car through Pouon. There's a little bit of argy-bargy between the two of them, but it's nothing serious, and Rian has to concede to Richie W18 here on lap 2. The time is not going well for him right now. Fran Bernoulli, though, is having a good time of it right now. He is closing towards the Haas driver of ORL Joker as Max gains a position. Vinny's dropped down, as is ST, losing out to Mr. Arabeng here. Arabeng was saying to me before the race we were having a little steam DM that in one of his best conditions, and he is going already up the inside of Quiet Boy. He gets the car rotated. There's a little bit of touchy, but everything looked really over the table there. Can Arabeng find the exit? Can he make the position up? He has already, as Vinny is out of the session. And I think that's into the pit wall. No, he's just retired on the track. Fortunate for the drivers in the front part of the grid that there is no safety car from that. The two Belgians at their home race out of the proceedings for the time being. Arabeng, is he going to be vulnerable? Off of a Rouge to Quiet Boy. Quiet Boy has burnt a lot of battery there. ST is close in behind the two of them. Similarly low level of battery. So Arabeng into P6. And doing a fabulous job from the lower reaches at the start. Is Rian finally going to get Richie? Richie is going to fight him hard, but finds the way to stay ahead. Did Bluefoot just get damaged as well off the back of Jake Donaldinho? It looks like he has. And wing damage in a wet race is the farthest thing from needed. It's going to cost him everything as this race progresses. You need that little bit of front end to really keep yourself in any sort of performance. A little bit of sliding is kind of the meta in this sort of race. But Arabeng up to P6 right now, and that is some great position change from him. Up 5 from his starting place, and it's not even the end of lap 3. How much further can the Aston Martin go around a wet Belgium, where now already he's closing in on Johnsy Boy? That's wide though, through Stabilo, and he is going to have to gain that time all back that he just worked so hard to get. But it's not going to be a big deal if he has the pace that he has. He's trying to be confident here. He's trying to win this race. He has told me that these are his conditions. This is where he expects to win. ST and Quiet Boy expecting to have a little duke out here as well. Hyper setting the fastest lap of the race, and Quiet Boy just backing off from ST. These guys in our shutdown partner league of Formula Aero did a great job of a first title battle for that league. But now P7 and P8 is what they're fighting for, as Mr. Arabeng closing in ever slowly on Johnsy Boy, and that will be looming in the back of the Mercedes driver's mind, seeing that Aston Martin in such great form on the back of him on the brakes. Look at the confidence that Arabeng carries compared to Johnsy Boy. He looks just to close in. He's carrying smoother, cleaner lines than the Mercedes driver, and this is a lot of threat from the Aston Martin, who isn't even, by the way, in the top 20 drivers on points. Arabeng in the Aston Martin could do an incredible feat here. Even P5 would put him in that top 20. Rando is currently not on track to score points. Lucas Spurs not racing today either. P5 would put him ahead of those two, as here goes Arabeng already. The confidence solid in that Aston Martin. He is looking left, right and centre on that Mercedes. He is looking rapid though, as Shamrock, first driver to receive a track limits penalty, that is still driving down there in P18. It has not been the race for our league owner today. Down in 18th, lost 10 positions from the start. He may have scored a point in the sprint, but there are no points for him looking towards the end of this race. Here comes Orabeng. There's a little bit of touchy there on the back of Johnsy Boy from Orabeng, but he's just going to look for a clean and consistent switch back. Can't get the traction down though, and it might just mean he'll have to wait a little bit longer for the move. But Johnsy Boy on the defensive already into turn 1. He is worried about this Aston Martin. He does not want to see a move made too early in this race. But Orabeng doesn't seem to have a response here. The times toppling down for this Aston, but he needs to get past Johnsy Boy's Mercedes, and it looks like this is going to be the opportunity. Trying to use the bit of weather line here. No DRS, no slipstream for Orabeng, but just pure raw straight line speed and battery deployment. He's going to hang it onto the outside sideways for the Aston Martin. Little bit of contact onto the Mercedes. They're still wheel to wheel. Can Orabeng find his way around the outside? They're still side by side as Orabeng goes off the track. Johnsy Boy will keep the position for now, and Orabeng getting held up horribly in all of this. This battle for P5 for Orabeng is crucial if he has the pace he thinks he does going into this event. He needs every little advantage, and being stuck behind a Mercedes in the dirty air, just consistently losing time to HB Cook in P4 is not what he needs. He's looking at Johnsy Boy, who comes over, covers off the racing line, and Johnsy Boy maintaining P5 for now, but really, is this just costing him and Orabeng time at this stage? 4.1 is the gap. Looking forward from Johnsy Boy's ST, picks up his first 3-second time penalty of the race in P7. He's dropped Quiet Boy a little bit since getting past him. Is this a sign of Quiet Boy's weakness? Maybe in these intermediate conditions. We know he loves the low-wing car. We know he loves to drop wings on a setup, and if you do that to an intermediate setup, you're costing yourself. Here goes Orabeng yet again to the inside of the penultimate corner as Joker finally goes faster than Hyper. It's not by much, but he does find the time. On the exit though, Orabeng, there's the brain working, gets past Johnsy Boy, and maybe under a bit of pressure on the straight in terms of maintaining that position, but at least for now gets that free air and can try and make a mad dash forward as he tries to attack now HB Cook and the rest of that top 4, who have a 5-second advantage over the rest of the pack. Johnsy Boy is going to burn everything he's got. He seems to be on lower wings even. With how much he is gaining, the slipstream is not worth that much in this game. But there goes the Aston Martin, unthreatened, untouched. And now, Orabeng, what can you do? Clean air awaits you. And all the opportunities in this race now are handed to you on a silver platter. 4 cars ahead, all with a good gap between each other. The battling is happening here in the midfield. And it's who's going to be able to clear. The slower cars, the quickest, that are going to make their way forward. Orabeng right now maintaining about 2 HB Cook on this lap. But plenty of time left in this race for him to do something about that. Is there a strategy call he can make? Is there anything he can do to make closing that gap just a little bit easier for himself, as Johnsy Boy, if DRS was enabled, has already dropped out of that 1-second window, the crucial window, to find your way much easier past a driver. Of course, we're not expecting DRS to be enabled at any stage of proceedings today. Johnsy Boy using a lot of battery in this final sector. He wants to close in on Orabeng. Orabeng doesn't want to be closed on. ST wants to make a move on Johnsy Boy even, but can't. Not quite, at least into the bus stop. Can he find traction on the exit? A little bit of wheel spinning there. Quiet Boy, first to jump in that top 10. Off of the intermediates, probably to a new set. But that's a long way to go on your final set of tyres. Is this undercut going to work out? Can he use it to his advantage? Cut through this traffic? We'll just have to find out. Orabeng should maintain his position on this lap. The question is, will Johnsy Boy maintain the position? That Mercedes hasn't looked the quickest on track, and here comes ST. He's going to the outside. He has more battery quite clearly, and the move should be simple for the Ferrari. Around the outside though, Johnsy Boy hangs it, and beautiful car control to try and maintain the position, but ST, better lines for him. Can't though. do anything about the Mercedes just yet, and will have to wait for another opportunity. Nothing clear coming from that. Rian in the top 10 right now, but a few cars already having made pit stops. Jake Donaldinho, though, getting his way past Rando IE in the Ferrari. Down to P13 for Ferrari. The constructor currently in P4, by the way, in that constructors battle. Just ahead of Haas TGR, who are looking to have a great race so far today. They've got 2 cars in the top 10. One in the upper reaches. Billy Wiz in P10 just hanging on, but gap could come down in points if anything happens. We know Joker is prone to a mistake or two at times. Arbeng has managed to recharge that battery fully, by the way. Beautiful execution in the wet conditions for the Spanish driver. And he is going to look to recreate a Fernando Alonso style performance now that his car is back in the condition he wanted in Hyper 295 F1. Fastest lap of the race so far. That just shows how well he's doing. ST pulls into the pits. Rian makes his way past Max. He's up to P8 now, and that'll come P7 with ST out of the way, but that is not any battery for that V-carb, which will lead to a horrible realization on this next straight unless Max is even worse off. They're about equal, but slipstream might not be worth much in this game, but it's at least worth something. Massive sliding through a rouge for Arbeng as he keeps pushing this car around the Belgium circuit, and he has gained to HB Cook on that last lap with a full battery recharge, and he is going to push. He said he wants to win. It's wet conditions, it's his favourite, but saying and doing is a completely different obstacle here inside of URC. A few drivers going for this undercut right now. As this track is drying out, though, it'll dry out a little bit throughout the course of this race. It might not. It will definitely not get to dry based on the weather forecast. It's meant to be raining the entire duration. But what might happen is that grip gets slowly better and better, which means that tyre is going to wear more and more. So the likes of ST, Quiet Boy, Bluefoot and Shamrock, who have all made pit stops so far this race, could have made a mistake. Belgium is not known for being a track kind to your tyres. As Arbeng, look at the gap that he has closed on this lap so far. About a second he has took out of HB Cook's advantage already, and he's still got battery left. It's not like he's burnt his entire reserve. He has just used it well enough. Coming towards the final chicane now, he has to make something happen. That's Fran Bernoulli through the final corner. HB Cook, everyone out on track is staying out on track right now. In that top 5, is anyone towards the front considering an early stop here? I'm surprised Arbeng didn't get a fastest lap there with how much he gained on HB Cook. Max will make the jump though into the pit lane at the end of lap 8 to go to the end probably on a fresh set of that medium compounder tyre. Disappointment there for FaZe Monkey. He is out of this race, giving up third retirement. No one has crashed on track. It's just been people in a horrid situation. Johnsy Boy, by the way, in a horrid situation. He's just been overtaken rather easily by Rian JFT, who may have struggled towards the start of this race, but he is starting to come more and more to life as time passes on here in Belgium, and he needs to. That gap is already huge at the top of the standings, extended by 8 points in that sprint race to 42. 119 points for Hyper from 77 for Rian, and right now that gap is just ever growing for Hyper. Right now it's another 17 points with Rian in P6, 8 points for P6, 25 for the win here in URC. So we need to see Hyper now put on a bit of a dumpster fire of the rest of the race, and Rian needs to drive like prime Jarno Opmeer. That'll be his goal coming towards the end of this race, but we're still only on lap 9 here in Belgium. Is anyone still considering making that jump over to a fresh intermediate to try and make something work in this race, because right now, not much going on track. Jake Donaldinho, though, has closed to MH, his teammate, and does he have an answer for the other lean green mean machine? But no, doesn't even have to answer. There goes MH into the pits, and as we saw that, it is a fastest lap from Rian, a 55.6, which is a 10th faster than anything Hyper has managed to do. It's 3/10 faster than anything that Orabeng has managed to do, and it's almost a second faster than anyone unmentioned in that top 3. It's a great bit of work from Rian in this race right now. MH and Richie both currently making a pit stop to try and do something about their race. Shamrock still plumb last in this race, and it looks like it might stay that way, but now in front, Fran Bernoulli, ever the one for a scrap, trying to get to P2. Rian looming further back as well, with some great pace, as he showed on that previous tour of the Belgian circuit. So Fran Bernoulli, it's go time now for him, as Joker seems to be falling off in this race. That gap to Hyper is 8 seconds right now. If this were NASCAR, we'd have a competition caution. The gap is that large between the field, but this is strategies emerging. This is tyre saving emerging. Rian is flying out there right now. May have had a rough early race, but doesn't have anything to say. Joker on full battery, very wide there, but he is down to P3. Fran Bernoulli almost waved by the Haas. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. That's Richie sideways out of Pouon and down to last in this race. The driver who just made a pit stop, the young driver in the Alpine. Disappointment personified for him, as Rian JFT will stay out, but HB Cook and Orabeng making a pit stop. The first of the top 6, the first of the guys in contest for a win. And this will be now crunch time for everyone else. ST, by the way, fastest lap of the race. He's made a pit stop. 3-lap-old intermediates. The pace is showing on them. As out of the pits comes Orabeng. ST just behind HB Cook. Orabeng just behind ST. And Orabeng is not going to be happy, stuck behind another car. But the pace is good from ST, and he might just have a go. He wants to get himself involved, but no battery for the Ferrari car for now. Richie retires and leaves. He is done here in Belgium, unsurprisingly. The spin, the penalty, everything out of his control at that stage of proceedings. As Rian is continuing to crunch on. Half race distance reached at the end of this lap. It'll be 11 to go when Hyper crosses the line. But there's plenty of time to go for anything to happen in this race. Billy Wiz down there in 14th, still trying to scrap his way forward. Still plenty of pit stops to play out here, as Quiet Boy's biggest fan, also known as Joker, is losing time hand over fist. He's not even using the battery right now. Has he got something wrong maybe with his kit? Because the fact that his battery isn't even on and he is on a full charge there suggests to me he's either given up or he is not having a great time with his wheel or anything. Into the pits for the top 3 right now. And will that be a follow from Rian? No. Rian JFT, Rian C11, whatever you want to call him, stays out on track and will take the lead for the time being. John's Boy will follow into the pits as HB Cook, ST and Orabeng all there in a little train behind Jake Donaldinho for now. Can HB Cook do anything? Old intermediates on the back of that kick Sauber. He needs to make a move and he needs to do it quick because that gap has closed and has closed massively. Joker is down to P7. Orabeng is looking at Joker. He's going to fight him on the outside of Eau Rouge. Orabeng miles off the track and backs out very well. It's a good job from him. Most drivers would have just said screw it and put their foot down. But smart driving from Orabeng to stop himself getting a penalty. ST up into P5 following HB Cook as Rian JFT has already been overtaken by Hyper. The power of a fresh intermediate is being shown, and it is on full display by the Irishman in the lead right now, and this looks like it could be an unfaltering win for Hyper at this stage. Not really any challenge since he overtook Joker on lap 1, turn 1 of this event, and he can just drive himself to the end. He'll have a 10-second gap back to the next driver who has made a pit stop already. So no crunch time for him, it's crunch time for everyone else. And Jake Donaldinho is causing issues. Orabeng is causing issues for Joker though. Up the inside, and it's going to be wheel to wheel through Stabilo. And it's a move from Orabeng, the most unconventional place I think I have seen today. Orabeng gets past Joker. He doesn't have much battery. He's out of deployment entirely. So Joker, is he going to be able to go straight back through? This is 2026 personified. Maybe not though. Orabeng, confidence in that car. They're wheel to wheel. The traction on the exit for Orabeng with no battery left to deploy. He takes the position from Joker. And time for him to push on. He wants at least a podium, I think, at this stage. It may be even P2. I think Hyper is out of the question for any one of these drivers right now. Rian comes out in P8. He's not got a massive gap to the guys ahead. Of podium still on offer for the V-Carb as well. Plenty of time left in this race for plenty of things to happen, so stick around, because the end of this could get a little desperate for a few drivers looking to stake their claim in the drivers' standings, and for those guys whose team fights are even more important to them. Hyper and Fran Bernoulli, 1 and 2, like as they have been for most of URC since I've been here. But it's not close this season. Hyper 11 seconds out in front. He is incredible through an intermediate race, and it's just fully on display here. And Joker, I mean, after a win in the sprint, which looked commanding from him in those dry conditions, the wet conditions looking abhorrent for him. P6 dropping away from someone on equal tyres is not where he needs to be right now. As Orabeng will crunch on now. He wants to close to ST, HB Cook and Fran Bernoulli. Podiums are what he wants in this series. He wants to come in with a bang this season. Fastest lap from Hyper, by the way, out in the lead. He is happy as Larry in these intermediate conditions. A 53 from him is all he wants for Christmas. He just wants anything and everything to go right for him. Rian, though, clear and quiet boy, who again struggles a little bit more in inters, just like Joker has been in this event. And you can see already the gap that Rian has pulled in the span of a straight. MH pulls into the pit lane and retires from the race. No on-track retirements, if you exclude Vinny, who did just kind of press the retire button and wasn't really out of the race. For anyone, it's all just been people in the worst position at the worst time, as Billy Wiz picks up another time penalty for himself down there in P11. It's not anything he wants right now in this race. Bluefoot into the pits. He'll come out now in P15 and last. Who's that ahead of him? Is that? Oh, that's Billy Wiz's MH's retiring car. But Bluefoot, I think, playing the strategy game here, onto a set of mediums. What can he do on that yellow striped medium tyre come the end of this race? I mean, the track is not ready to see someone on that intermediate tyre absolutely send it around. But Bluefoot is going to make it work. No matter what it seems, he is pushing that car through Sector 2 right now. How much grip can he find? How much temperature can he get into that tyre? That is the crucial part of driving slick tyres on a drying track. But right now, it doesn't look like he's finding enough adhesion to really find time to his rival ahead in Shamrock. And you can see just through Puon is a little bit too early, I think, from Bluefoot on that medium tyre. The gamble is not paying off right now. Time loss everywhere. But is this him being out there to scout for information? As Quiet Boy into the pits at the end of lap 14. And is this for another set of intermediates? This the furthest thing from race saving. This could be race ending as Jake Donaldinho pulls into the pits, gives up on the... It looks like every constructor might stand a shot at getting points, barring Alpine. The top 10 diverse as ever right now, as Johnsy Boy is actually going to make it through on Max on the back straight up into P8. Poor Johnsy Boy, the southerner who loves a joint, and he needs to push himself a little bit further forward. Arabeng has closed up, by the way, to the back of ST, who may have fallen away a little bit from HB Cook, but that doesn't explain all of that time gained for Arabeng, who's going to go on a rampage. ST on slightly older tyres, I believe. For ST to try and overcome for a result, that early pit stop to undercut himself into what was looking to be a podium position. HB Cook managing to fend him off well enough. And there goes Arabeng, the Spaniard, clear through on the German. And now team right now, HB Cook in P3 at the start of lap 16. Where can Arabeng finish though? A Spaniard in an Aston Martin has typically been a great combination, as Bluefoot, I think, still out there just trying to find if you can get any grip from that medium tyre. It's not looking promising though, as Max has to pull into the pits at the end of lap 16. Is his tyres a little bit too far gone at this stage? First pit box for him, a fresh set of intermediates to drag him to the end. But that's going to give Quiet Boy at least the opportunity for another point in this race, where, let's be honest, that final pit stop costing him a bit. If Rando can keep himself on a decent pace to the end of this race, it could be a point for Rando in the intermediate conditions. But right now, Max on tyres that don't look like they'll do the job for him. Shamrock comes into the pits. It's a fresh intermediate for him. Is he going to be undercut by Bluefoot though, who's gone on to a medium tyre? You could hear the engine of the Mercedes in the pit exit. Is he going to be able to do it? No. Shamrock just about keeping the position over Bluefoot. Second and a half is the gap further back, as Rian finally onto the back of Joker, as Arabeng actually really closing in as well on HB Cook. There may only be 6 laps to go at the end of this lap, but plenty of time for the two drivers trying to surge their way forward to really make a statement towards the end of the proceedings here. Rian, can he get ST? Arabeng, can he get Fran Manuli? Those are questions that we'll only find out right at the end. The pace advantage will have to be major. Rian with a massive battery advantage right now over Joker, but Joker just, I feel like Joker's overtake button just isn't bound. That seems to be where Joker's losing this time right now. Just not deploying battery at all around this track, but he goes back on the overtake on some exits. Maybe it's questionable battery usage, but I couldn't say. HB Cook though might have made a mistake in that final part of the lap, because he has been closed down on by Arabeng. He's been pulled away from by Fran Bernoulli, and here goes Arabeng on the back straight. He's going to have the toe, he's going to have a slipstream, but he's just too far back. Thanks F125 for the incredible, by the way, slipstream. So much that you can make an overtake in the intermediate conditions. Arabeng's going to have to find an alternate way through on the Williams driver. He's looking to the outside of Malbody. Can't do anything. Maybe out of no name, if he can find traction, there's an opportunity, but nothing's sticking right now for the Aston Martin. Pulls onto the wet line. He wants to stay tucked in right behind HB Cook's Williams and find any advantage possible. It's a good, though, run through Puon. He's to the outside. He's going to try and hang it. There's contact. Both of them losing out there. Orabeng, I think, nicely keeping the position. Is he going to be able to capitalise on any of this? No, not for the time being. He's going to have to find an alternate route through, but that's just hurt them both. 2 seconds extended is the gap by Fran Bernoulli. It looks like it's going to be a Hyper Fran 1-2. Who's going to round out the rest of this podium? We don't know just yet. But HB Cook trying to make a statement that it'll be him. But no battery in that Williams car, and you're not going to get any regen through this final chicane as Orabeng comes into the pits. Orabeng was so recent on an intermediate, you wouldn't have thought a pit stop for him. That's horrid. The driver touted for a podium pulls into the pit lane. It's a fresh set of intermediates, but that's not what's important right now. Orabeng and ST both in the pit lane, and both horribly having to drop positions, maybe just to keep their races alive, but that is not what I wanted to see from Orabeng there. I wanted to see the win from the Master. I've just realised I've left washing in a washing machine for 3 hours. I am so good at life, but I will have to go down there after this race to retrieve that. I saw a piece of clothing on the floor and remembered it. I got too distracted earlier. But Orabeng now needs to find a quick route through on Johnsy Boy, and he's immediately up the inside, cleanly alongside, clearly past. And now, in a 5-lap sprint to the end, does he have over 2 seconds a lap? It's what he needs to get himself back into that top 5. It's not a small order for him to have to go 5 laps, 2 seconds faster each lap than just Joker, and he needs to go over that to even stand a chance. And realistically, that gap, 2.5 a lap once we finish here. But we know what Joker's like. Actually, Joker's turned the battery back on. He's turned the burners on. He is going for it again. I wonder why he kept that battery switched off for so long, but Orabeng's still not close enough to do anything. Hasn't gained enough on this lap to truly say that he's going to be able to challenge Joker towards the end of proceedings here. The gaps have extended out in this field throughout the race, and the different strategies. We've had 2 stoppers around this track. 2 pit stops for a few of these drivers, for actually a deep majority. HB Cook has had a major issue. He risked the puncture. HB Cook is off with a puncture at Eau Rouge. Disaster for the Williams team. And now it's a thought on tyre age. HB Cook, 8 laps only on that tyre. It's going to be a slipstream grab from Orabeng as HB Cook just pulls off the track. But now debates will be going on in people's heads. 8 laps is the same age as Billy Wiz, and it's a lap fresher than most of that top 5, barring Orabeng. But Joker, Fran Bernoulli and Hyper, all on pretty old intermediates at this stage, especially considering HB Cook, who is really having issues right now, and unfortunately the rule set harming him right now. I'm sure just retire from the race is what he wants to do, but the rules state, nah fam, you're not doing that. But knowing of punctures now up and down the grid, there are going to be fears immensely personified for all of these drivers right now. They're going to have to consider everything. If you're on an old tyre, do you have to make a pit stop to get yourself to the end of this race? We'll just have to find out as the race will come to a conclusion. But Joker right now looking pretty decent for the first time this race, looking competitive against the driver he's fighting. As realistically, I think I'd just love to see HB Cook stop his suffering right now and just retire. because that rear left is costing him even going forward at this stage. It's practically stopped Billy Whiz. Lap 19, by the way, end of, is pulling into the pit lane. As drivers making up positions up and down the grid now. With these worries on tyres, Johnsy Boy losing out to ST. Johnsy Boy, 8 lap old tyres on that car. I'm going to keep the tyres up for you all, as we know. Now, the predicament you're in if you're on 2 old tyres, you've hurt them too much through a race. HB Cook just needs to end his life at this stage in that car. Rando, does he have the tyres to go to the end? Johnsy Boy, does he have any opportunity? Joker, can he do it? Fran, can he do it? Or Hyper especially, can he make it to the end? On that intermediate tyre, rear left seems to be the one that's taking the beating for these drivers right now. HB Cook finally brings himself to an on-track retirement. It's going to be a little bit in the way of Orabang, but he's a lap down at this stage to most of the grid. And I don't think he really was going to make it back to the pit lane before the end of the race. Looking at the pace he was moving his way back there. You're going to have to worry, though, for anyone still out there fighting away with an 8-lap intermediate, that they're not going to be able to take that tyre to the flag. The likes of Hyper, who has been putting down lap after lap of pace this race, which will have been taking everything out of the tyre. Can he make it? Fran Bernoulli, who's been in P2, but it's been a much steadier pace from second to fourth. They may stand a better chance. Johnsy Boy, though, you know how much he likes to push a car. I think that's lift and coast, actually, into the final corner for Johnsy Boy, who might be a little bit under on fuel there. Disappointingly for him. Rando still in a point-paying position, by the way. Quick look at penalties. Shamrock won't destroy him on penalties either, so opportunities coming for all these drivers. Opportunities may be falling away for some if they've got their strategy even slightly wrong. At this point, HB Cook's slow carb due to a puncture has just come up on my screen now. But who else is having to save because of a puncture at this point? Does Hyper, penultimate lap, if his tyres have gone too far, consider pitting? It's always the question that you can ask. Do I just pit and save myself the risk of a puncture? Joker looking to take it very cautious right now as well. Orabang has fresh tyres though, and doesn't have to worry about the puncture risk. Doesn't have to worry about the threat of losing any of his tyres as they come towards the end of the stint. Here comes Orabang. It's to the outside of Joker. Can Joker stand a chance against a fresh tyre? It doesn't look like he can. Orabang round the outside, up to P4. But they're equal on battery. Joker, though, still needs to be worried. He's got old tyres. They could go at any point, but he's still trying to fight it out. Wide through Blanchimont, sliding all over the shop, and has to concede at the end of that little scrap. Down to P5 for Joker. Not where he would have expected to finish. Hyper, though, still leading. He's led most of the race anyway, so it's not really a surprise. I think he's led at the end of every lap. ST takes the fastest lap away from him. I don't think that's really in Hyper's book of concerns right now, the fastest lap, as those tyres are probably on fire, are probably close to their ending point. But Quiet Boy now is one more point in order for the Northern Irishman. Surely he can find a way through on Johnsy Boy. I thought it might have been a bit crazy when he pitted, but he still has every opportunity. Hyper is taking it so easy that he has lost a second on this lap to Fran Bernoulli. Can't afford it, and I mean Fran Bernoulli can't afford to back off too much because if Hyper gets a puncture, that could be race ending for him, position losing for him. But at the same time, who even has the tyres left to do anything? Joker losing another position to ST. Is this Joker just really having to take care of that rear left at this stage? Put the minimal amount of wear through it because he's under that much risk. But it is going to be Hyper. It'll be his 6th in a row, according to the statistics. At least on track for him, it's 6 in a row for him. Hyper crosses the line. It's the today, but the pace just wasn't there from him. P2 across the line for the Red Bull. Rian coming back from a terrible starting position. He finishes in 3rd. It's going to be Orabeng. Had to take the 2-stop for 4th. It has been a brilliant effort from the Aston Martin driver. 5th is going to go to ST240611. He has done everything he could that race. 10 points for the Ferrari squad is all he gets. It's 6th for Joker in the end. Johnsy Boy and Quiet Boy scrapping it out all the way to the line. But Quiet Boy with better tyres. There's a wheel hook to the line. But Quiet Boy takes 7th from Johnsy Boy in 8th. It'll be 9th for Billy Whiz in the Haas car. Rando might not have been expected from 19th. Comes home. He'll score a point. P10 for the Ferrari squadron. Double points for them in this race. And Shamrock can only bring himself to finish in P11 at the end of that race. Apparently my mic is fucked.
Puncture at this point. Does Hyper an ultimate lap if his tyres have gone too...
Oh wow. Thank you, Mahavir. That was really appreciated that it's this early. That's this late in the stream.
Vinny, he's gonna try...
Wow, my mic has been fucked the entire time. Better. Let us see if this fixes the mic.
Time.
I love that my mic was broken that entire stream, by the way. It's just 10 out of 10 for not being told that my mic is absolutely screwed. They think it's a voice changer, by the way.
Let us see if...
Oh wow, the mic isn't better. GG's in video broadcast. You beat me yet again. You're not telling me that anything is wrong, but it's still fucked. So I think that'll have to be the end of today's stream. No interviews after today's race due to this mic being a little screwed. We'll be back next week with hopefully a functioning mic, with hopefully a functioning everything, because we still don't know what's going to go down there. Let's just see though. Let's do it. From my mic. Well, it's definitely good job, Razor. You have made a brilliant mic. We'll see you next time for what can only promise to be a great race around some sort of track.